morning, Facebook world, and welcome. Today, I have a lady to introduce to you, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. Let me lower this background music a little bit, get in the mood for our artistic, heart centered, beautiful lady that I got to meet on Facebook. How many people have you met on Facebook that really touch your heart and soul? They're your cheerleader when you need one, and they just all around a good person. Well, I was fortunate enough to meet that person here, and I've been watching her, put her artwork out there. And you may say, well, why are you interviewing somebody who's an artist? Well, she's also a writing teacher. So she's very creative. And I'm just happy to be able to do this for her because she does so much for other people. So I'm going to bring on Rodine. And Rodine, I got to tell you, she cracks me up. When she was giving me her bio and stuff, she's like, well, when I'm not into creating magic and messes in my studio, you'll find me avoiding my housework. Well, I like this gal already. So let's bring her on and I'll tell you a little bit more about her. Good morning, Rodine. Am I
Good.
pronouncing your name correctly?
Rodine.
Rodine. Okay.
Yeah, my name is half of my parents' names. So half of Rodney and half of Christine. So they
Well,
put
I'm
the
glad I
Rod
asked.
and the E together. There
Rodine.
I was.
Okay. Well, I am very impressed with you on all levels, especially as a person more than anything. But I understand you're an award winning artist who accidentally discovered this talent, which I really want you to kind of talk about today. And I'm fascinated with the acrylic fluid art paintings because I tried that and made a mess over and over and over again. And you make it look so easy. And I also know that you have a special, what would you call what you're doing later today? Like a display of your artwork for sale?
Yeah, I'm having my very first online art sale. And back when I
Okay.
started over 20 years ago, you had to do the gallery route. And I've had some gallery shows, but now because of the internet and Facebook, I actually get to just invite a whole bunch of people into my living room
Isn't
and
that
show them
great?
my work. It's amazing.
It is amazing. All of this is amazing. Who knew that this world would open up to us? But let's talk about about you as an artist. You said you discovered your talent accidentally about 20 years ago. How did you discover that?
I was working with a special needs student at the time as an educational assistant. So I worked one on one. She was busy doing her thing in art, and I decided literally to just play with the paints. And so, I'd been in the art class with the art teacher. So I just kind of slapped down some paint and played around. Really, I had no idea what I was doing. And then later on my coffee break, I had put the picture down on the table and I'm standing getting my coffee and I hear like four staff members talking about this painting. And they're like, well, they were saying it had to be the art teacher's, right? It's got to be his. And they said, well, if it's here at the end of the day, I'm taking it home. And I turned around and I said, that's mine. And if you want it, take it. It's yours. I had no idea. Like I was literally just playing, and yet what I made, they thought was gorgeous and were fighting over. So
Wow.
yeah, like
So
who
what was
knew?
the painting of? What did you do?
Oh my gosh, I don't even remember. It was probably something ultra simple, just like a sky and foreground and a tree. Because really, that was about where I was at then,
Yeah.
right?
So, people that are watching that would love to paint, what
Mhm.
would you say to them? Like when you did that, like what mindset did you put yourself in and how did you allow yourself to just play? Because most of us overthink art.
I do too sometimes too. I like that you mentioned play, Gloria, because honestly, that would be my biggest piece of advice. If you're curious, if there is something about a paint medium that calls to you, just do it. Like play with it. start off with a little set of whatever watercolors or acrylics and just enjoy. Like, don't we get that there are all these rules in your head, right? Like, oh, I can't because I need lessons. Lessons certainly help, right? You get to
Hmm.
a point where some guidance comes in handy, but
Right.
just play and explore.
Well, I can relate to this because I'm going to tell a little story, and some of you out there can relate to it as well. So come by and say hello. Tell us if you like to paint. If you do paint, I see some of you out there. Say good morning. So anyway, when I was younger, I loved to play and color and draw and all of that. And about at 16 or so, I was doing something kind of like just it was this picture that I had in my mind of two beautiful goddess women back to back, but all just in colors, and it was the use of the colors that popped the two women. Okay, well, when my father came home and I was having I was doing this all in one day, which I usually don't do anymore because of how his energy stopped me in my life. He was screaming at me because he had a bad day. And do you have to finish everything in one day? And da 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 da. Well, I was almost done in the bottom right hand corner and I froze. And do you know that my entire life I still freeze in the bottom right hand corner?
Wow.
Yeah, that's how deep it goes. And I had a woman who was an art instructor therapist in my 30s try to work with me.
Mm-hmm.
And she realized that when she had me sketch something, I was fine. The minute the color had to go in, that's where I froze.
Oh, interesting. That imprint was really, really heavy in your energy body, right?
And that's why, with the flow painting that you do, the fluid art, I was so attracted to that a few years ago and thought, okay, I can do this. But honestly, it was kind of reminding me of that incident way back when. But then it was also the paint was a lot looser and I was just a messy 4-year old. So how did you get involved in the acrylic fluid art?
About 4 or 5 years ago, my youngest brother actually sent me a link to a YouTube video and he said, "Have you seen this?" And so I clicked and I watched and I was just I think like everybody when you first see fluid art happening, right? I was just mesmerized and I was like, I have to do this. I spent hours and hours and hours down that YouTube rabbit hole, right? And, you know, lots of the artists actually gave their pouring medium recipes, which is the key to everything. Like, you
Oh,
need
that's what
to
I
know.
need. I need a recipe. You know what it reminded me of when I first saw it? I don't know if you ever, years ago, like in carnivals and stuff, they would have the spin art and you would
Yes.
just drop your paint
Yeah.
on and it would spin and it would do that. And I kind of thought that's what would happen when I tried
Yeah.
it.
My dad built one of those for us when we were really young in a record player. And so he would put down paper and he would turn it on and we would just pour our paints in. Oh my
That's
God, it was so much fun.
wow. See,
Yeah,
so he already was encouraging you down the future path for the flow art. Yeah.
he was. He was.
So if people out there are interested in getting started with that, what because you
Yeah.
said you found recipes, what do you recommend to them?
Okay. Now, because it's come so far, because it's so popular and so accessible now for people, I would suggest the easiest way is you can go to a Michael's, right? You can get really affordable canvases there, and they have pre mixed pouring paints. If you really want to play around, but you don't think you're ready to learn how to mix recipes for your pouring medium,
Okay,
I
so
think
I did
that's
that.
the best.
I did that. I
Did
got that
you?
kit and I still made a mess. And
No.
I've got artistic talents. So I was like, "Oh my gosh."
Well,
So, let's bring it up a little. So you got the kit,
hey,
you got everything the way it's supposed to be.
yeah.
Now you got the canvas. What helped you get in that flow, literally in that flow?
You know, there you do have a moment before you start where I do literally try to connect with the paint. And
Mm.
in that moment, whatever you think you see in your head, you have to say, yep, that's lovely, and we'll see, and let it go.
Let it go.
And then trust your instincts, right? I'm an intuitive artist. I trust my instincts when I'm layering the paints, where I put the cup down, and even the
Let's
tilting.
talk about that, okay?
Okay.
Because we got brand newbies out here too. My girlfriend, my best friend, she's on here and she's an artist and she loves it. She just made a comment. But let's just take it from the first layer. Like, what do you do first for those that want to understand the process and maybe take some of the classes you're going to do in the future online? Like, how are you going to get us started so we don't go, oh my God, layering, what is she talking about?
Well, one of the really nice things about my the classes that I am going to run is I decided they are going to be live in a Zoom room, because when you are just starting,
Yeah.
All of those little tips that are so natural, like when you're layering in the cup, right? I know how much paint you should put in to cover the canvas.
So for those that don't know what you're talking about right now, layering in the cup,
Layering in the cup.
You're taking a color here, you're dropping another color in here, right?
Yeah. So in a cup, if I'm starting with white, I would pour some white in, and then I would pour my next color in. And so let's say it's a blue, and then I might add a deeper anchor color, so a darker blue or a contrasting color, and that would be my next color. And depending on the result that you're looking for, when you've layered up to the amount that will cover your canvas, sometimes I like to stick a popsicle stick in and just move it around just to mix the colors a little bit and get them moving together. And then you'd put your canvas. This is the easiest beginner method, the flip cup, right? Put the canvas on top.
I did that. It was a mess.
Really?
I was like Miss Piggy. It went all over the place.
And hold it really tight, and then just turn it over, and then place it down, right? And let the paint drip down.
Now, I'm going to just interject here because I have the tendency to buy big canvases, and that's where I made my mistake in the beginning for the newbies out there. When I went and got a smaller one, I did have a beautiful fluid art, thing come out, like whatever you want to call it. But it was a beautiful array of colors and it was magical.
Yeah.
So do you advise that start with small?
I do. I advise start with 8x10s, maybe 10x10s. Get comfortable with that size first.
Mm-hmm.
And then, because during that process, you will get to know how much paint you need in the cup, right? And you'll get used to the tilting motions. You'll get used to seeing on your canvas, oh, I really like that part. I want to try and keep that. So then you'll tilt the paint off the canvas on other sides.
Well, I'm looking forward to your classes. And those are some of your paintings in the background. Do you have a small one to show?
You know what?
No, it's okay.
I took all of my babies in to get all the backs redone and all the hanging hardware redone and stuff. So it's like they're at the shop.
Okay. But you art later on today. What time? You're having a sale for your artwork.
I am in my private Facebook room. So it's invite only.
So if people wanted to get in there, how do they get in there?
You know what? If they would like to come and join me, that would be amazing. I'd love to have you guys if you want to join. If they can, even in the comments, just put a yes or a heck.
Okay, great idea. So if you want to join her later on, Rodine, right? Just drop a comment down below.
Awesome.
And she loves messy overflow. That's my friend. That's my friend.
Yes. I've never made jewelry.
Very creative. Awesome. But if you want to go see her artwork and you want to see what they look like, and maybe you even want to purchase one, drop a yes, and she can invite you into the private group.
Absolutely.
And what time is it today?
It is tonight at 7 p.m.
Central
Canadian
or Eastern?
Well, it's Canadian Daylight Time now. So Central Standard Time, but Central Daylight Time, 7 p.m. is when I'll be starting.
So about 9 p.m. my time.
Yes.
Okay.
7, no, 8 your time.
8?
Yeah, because
Okay.
it's daylight savings time now for
Gotcha.
us. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So if you
And
just joined us, I
like,
have been chatting with Rodine here, who is an amazing creative being. She's a beautiful heart-centered friend from Facebook, and she is going to offer online trainings with her fluid art if you're interested in that. And tonight she has a special event. So if you want to see her artwork and maybe even purchase it, drop a line down below and she'll invite you into the private group. Is there anything else you want to say out there to aspiring artists?
I say just do it, because once you start, you're just going to open yourself up to amazing, amazing experiences. And whether that's just personally, because you do form that relationship with paint, which sounds kind of funny. But there just end up being so many beautiful opportunities. So I say do it. Follow your heart. If you're called to do it, do it. Go play with paint, get messy, get to know it, and it will guide you.
So Mandy, who lives over in the UK, I believe, she was doing some sketching on Facebook of
Oh,
these cartoon kind of illustrations that I saw. And I fell in love with her talent and actually reached out to her. See, I love all you artists. And reached out to her and gave her an idea for the end of my book. I don't know if you saw it on my page, but
ooh,
quickly I was like, "How did you do this so fast?" I would take 12
I
weeks
saw
probably.
that.
And I
Oh,
sent her a picture of the town that's at the end of my book, and I
yeah,
told her about the couple,
yeah.
and she went and put it up there, like,
Oh,
literally, she sent it to me in less than an hour, and I fell in love with it immediately. Immediately.
beautiful.
Yeah, so I love creative beings that can just be in that moment, create something. Like, I have paintings I take 9 years with. That's not so
I'm finishing one that was half finished and sat. Yeah, I think it sat for about 7 years.
Okay,
And
then I don't feel so bad.
no, you know what? It happens. It happens.
Yeah.
And I just got used to it's like, okay, not right now.
So how do you put, we're going to end this real soon, but how do you
Yeah.
put yourself in that flow space? What do you do? What tips can you give our viewers?
You know what? I love music. So whatever music just kind of takes you out of yourself or takes you out of your head so that you're not really thinking and you're just more being. So I like to put on music. And if I want a high energy piece, sometimes it's rock and roll. And I will actually kind of dance around the living room or the
Hmm.
studio, right? Like just to get moving and to get busy. And I do that while I'm setting up. And I just find then it's just natural to kind of move into the painting part. And I love having music on when I paint too. So,
Well,
yeah,
I am looking forward to seeing your artwork tonight. Okay. So anybody's interested, say yes below. She'll
yeah,
invite you into her private group.
love to have you come.
And when do you anticipate doing the online classes?
I would like to start those in the last week of July. I think I would like to run my first one in that last week.
So
So,
if they want information on that, should they friend you on Facebook or something? Like,
absolutely, they can friend me on Facebook, Rodine Isfeld. You can follow my page, Rodine Isfeld Designs, because I will absolutely be posting there and letting people know what's up and coming. So, and I've got lots of
lovely.
things in the works right now too. So,
So if
yeah.
you want to get messy and you want to go with the flow and you want to dance to the music,
Yes.
then come on over and join Rodine because
Yeah.
she loves obviously conversation, coffee,
Yeah.
laughing, and she loves to inspire. And that's how I started this out in the beginning. She inspired me during a really rough time of writing my book to keep going because you even mentioned to me you teach young writers, don't you?
Do young writers and young artists.
Love
And
it. Love it.
yeah, I teach them how to just trust themselves and have fun, whatever, whether it's writing or it's the art. So
And what I loved about you, you were so non-judgmental. So I know that's how you'll be like when you teach your art classes too, because that's truly where a person can receive inspiration. When people are getting all this critiquing and criticism, it shuts people down, whether it's art or writing. And I can feel that connection in
yeah,
you. So I'm just so grateful that we have met.
I am too. Thank you. And you know something, I tried taking an art class once and I had to bring in work that I'd done. One was a commission piece that had been sold already, and he did a totally different style from me. His critique was so brutal and hurtful, and he said I would never paint big. I didn't know what I was doing, and I left there and I almost never painted again.
And
So
Rodine, that's how I felt when I was getting
I
critiqued on some of my writing that wasn't even done yet. I was like, wait a minute, people. So yeah, to find somebody that supports and encourages you out
yeah,
there, whoever it
so
is
important.
really important. I
Yeah,
took some art lessons when I was living in Kauai, and this man did all different mediums, and he wasn't teaching per se, but I kind of begged
yeah,
him, and I met him at his home, and we would sit outside and he would
yeah.
take me through this process, and he gave me all these little tips and hints, and we went from a small thing to a bigger one. And I said to him one day, I said, "You're the dad I needed." And he looked at me, and because he asked the story, and he said, "You're the daughter I needed because I used to be your dad." So it was so healing for the two of us to come together in that space, for me to be encouraged while I was learning, and he was so wonderful about it. And then for him to cut back on that criticism and
Mhm.
support me where I was at. And it always made me want to go to the next level because he did that.
Because you feel safe exploring,
Yeah.
right? It makes a huge difference. And like you've said, in anything that we do, but absolutely creativity, whether it is writing or artwork, painting, whatever, it's very tender
It
when
is
we
tender.
first discover it, right?
Hmm.
It needs to be nurtured in a really tender,
Absolutely.
gentle, caring way.
Well, I want to thank you for being here today. I hope you ladies and gentlemen
Thank
that are out there commenting
you.
will join her tonight and
Yes.
go into her group. Say yes that you want to be in. She'll put you over there, and then join her for some of her online classes because I know I'm
Yeah.
going to. I want to have fun. So anyway, thank you everybody for being here today. Thank
Yes.
you for, like I
You.
said, just sharing your love.
Oh, thank you, Gloria. I so appreciate you.
Have a beautiful day,
You
everybody.
too.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.